Welcome, guys. Welcome. This is not a video watching live stream. We actually have a extreme weather situation that's developed this morning in the same area that's been plaguing Texas right now. So right now we have multiple flash flood warnings that have been issued for that same area, the Guadalupe River, as well as several other locations. And the city of Saba is being evacuated right now due to the rising floodwaters. According to the flood gauge that was set at 25 feet, it is currently at 30 feet. We are seeing a lot of activity that is going on with this flooding that is going on in basically south central Texas right now. And it is currently moving towards the Austin area as well as Round Rock area that is also experiencing these significant flash flooding events. These warnings are up for the next about 2 to 3 hours, depending on exactly where this one in particular is up for an hour and a half. So right now we are looking at um, a significant weather situation that is developing also in the Richmond area, Virginia. Also, flash flood warnings are also have popped up. I'm gonna talk about this real quick because this is developed in the last 15 minutes. So currently there is these thunderstorms that are just slow moving and they're dropping a lot of rain. And given that a lot of people live in this area, so this is for water gauges along the creeks and rivers. And yeah, this activity is continuing to move basically in the southern direction, as well as we have several flash flood warnings that are also popping up here in Maryland and also one in the DC area as well. So this activity is going to be continuing, and we even have this. Wait. Okay, no, it's not an emergency, it's just a warning. I thought it was flashing. Again, up here in Pennsylvania, we also have another flash flood warning. Two severe thunderstorm warnings currently up in New York, as well as some severe weather in Florida area. And we are currently looking at there was a severe thunderstorm warning for the Rutledge, North Carolina area, but it has since expired. We're currently also looking at two other flash flood warnings. One's here in not Mississippi, Missouri. It looks to be along this river, a river that's flowing. Come reports of flooding along the highway there. I'm not sure exactly which highway that is, and also in Illinois we have another flash flooding as everything else. So yeah, currently right now we are looking at a very significant weather situation that has developed. So what we're looking at here is obviously we have a slight risk here in Tucson as well as the Northeast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through what's going on here. First of all, I'm going to take away the discussions. I'm going to take away. So we're going to look at the situation. Let's bring up the tornado risk. So right now we have the lowest grade tornado risk located in basically the Mississippi Valley area. Nothing. An isolated tornado, relatively weak. Usually when marginal risks are there, that's about EF0 to EF2. Tornadoes that usually are prone to that area. So now, wind threats. So that's where we get actually some interesting. We have this marginal risk of wind in Florida, from Texas all the way up through Indiana, along the coast. This is in New England where we see the slight risk that comes up, and same thing down here in Tucson. Then we also have a slight risk or a marginal risk here in Minnesota. So, and the hail threat consists in Minnesota and also New Mexico areas, respectively. And then from there, our wildfire risks are concentrated in Arizona and also the Pacific Northwest. These are just elevated risks. Now, let's look at the rain. So, the green is a marginal, and then the yellows are slight risk, and then this is a moderate risk for heavy rain. So as you can see, it's right smack dab where a flash flooding event is occurring right now. We're also going to be watching all three of these areas for other flash flood events that might develop as well. So far, that's what we're looking at right now. And the biggest concern right now is the catastrophic flooding that is about to be occurring or is occurring in this area, Texas. We have this. I'm not sure if I can show you this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. If they want to have problems with it, that's fine too. But Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna minimize this. Minimize the weather app, and I'm gonna bring in the data. So these are the river gauges right now. So this is the river at Sabe River at San Sabe. This is the town that is currently being evacuated right now. This is for what they're anticipating a large-scale flooding to occur. As of right now, the flood level is at 28 feet. The flood stage is at 25 feet, so that's about 4 feet above the actual gauge. And then when we fan out, we have two other locations that we are interested in right now. We are watching the Llano River near Junction, which is flood stage is at 16 feet. It's currently sitting at 23 feet. And then we're also watching down here. It started to recede, but at one point it did peak at 15 feet. Again, flood stage is at 10 feet. We have a lot of situation going on here. And all this water is basically moving downstream, and the systems are moving downstream as well towards the east. So when we compare this, even this one is at monitor stage. It is not currently at flood stage. So is San Pat River here. It barely creeped up over monitored stage, so I don't expect flooding to occur in that timeline. But as you can see, that's what we got right now going on for here. So if I can select I think this is only for the Over Basin. Okay. Yeah, this is only for Texas, but right now that's what we're looking at. And the biggest concern right now is the flash flooding that is occurring. In particular, how to get over to Africa. Especially as this rainfall and this new line that is developing here. So we're gonna look back at it real quick and we're gonna watch this line real quick. So as you can see, as it moves forward, it's just leading off this energy right here. So obviously we have some type of low spinning right here that's pushing. Basically, that's what's pushing the system in a east-northeast direction, but it's sucking in this moisture from the Gulf. So that when this happens, this is obviously you'll see what basically what you see is happening with these basically slow-moving systems that are just pounding the area with rainfall. And that's basically in the simplest way to put it down, you guys, because it's just, yeah. Look at all these lightning strikes too as the system moves through. So this system will track, well, basically in the east and northeast direction through into northeastern Texas. It doesn't look like Dallas might get hit, or Garland, which Garland, I don't know if he's here or not, but his area doesn't look to be too much of a concern. It's more towards like Tyler as this event goes on. So we're looking at more flash flooding with this event. So now let's go to the northeast and let's focus in on Richmond. So this event, as you can see, these are just basically nearly stalled. Look how slowly this activity is moving. This activity is not moving really fast at all. So what that means is these storms are just dumping rain. Normally when they're moving east, northeast, or south 25 to 35 miles an hour, that's over a significant area. But because they're moving so slowly, and you can see the outflow barrier that's forming right here. See this outflow? So that's just all that outflow wind that's just giving enough energy to help it as well. So right now, so that's basically what's causing this flare up. And obviously we'll go look at DC radar and we'll run the same loop as well. As you see, this activity is there's just a lot of back building that they'll form and die, form and die, form and die. So this is what we're looking at right now. And so what you see in this right here, that is just a simple, it's a simple anomaly on the radar. A lot of conspiracy theorists that say, see, they're cloud seeding, they're doing this because look, this storm formed right here. First of all, this radar is here, and then West Virginia and everything else, the Appalachian Mountains are here, so that radar is bouncing up like that over it. So that's why you're seeing that. It's basically just bouncing off the mountain range in West Virginia that's causing it to shoot upward. Because dual pulse radar shoots one beam up and the other one basically straight. So basically you get this, the further away you get, the closer the elevate the beams are together when they bounce back to the radar. So again, it's funny hearing, reading these stories and everything else, but the fact that people are actively damaging this equipment and everything else is beyond me. But then again, people also believe that there are frozen alien bodies up in the what is it, the Arctic or something. Or there's, it's just interesting how some people are so easily believe shit they see online. So, but and let's go check on our thunderstorms now. Our 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are going on up here. What do we got going on here? So our severe thunderstorm warning is for 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. It is up for basically 5 more minutes. And yeah, it's just quarter hail and damaging winds at 60 miles an hour. That would definitely blow some shingles off your roof. It's equivalent to like an EF0 tornado. Let's see how the history of this cell has been. So obviously you see the cell that does form and it's moving through this activity. Obviously this is into Canada now. So this main cluster here is probably producing damaging winds, and that's why we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Ottawa as well. That's not what I selected. Let's go back over there. We got some reports of damage. So for our Canadian friends, we do have severe thunderstorm warning in, looks like, Ottawa and its surrounding areas. The way they issue severe thunderstorm warnings is very interesting. It's telling that has been issued for imminent or occurring thunderstorms expected to produce damaging hail, wind, and rain. Emergency Management of Ottawa recommends that you take cover now. Yeah. So, and then, well, obviously there's this, all the way up, there's just a severe thunderstorm watch. So, I don't know if there's the radar images up there that high. Yeah, there's some scattered cells. And I don't think anything. Ooh. In Alberta, we have a tornado watch. What we got going on here? Nothing right now. A couple of cells up in Rocky Mountain House. Okay. So that's what's going on in Canada. Alright, let's go back to our... Let's actually go focus in on our other 2 flash flood warnings. Okay, that radar is not registering. Alright, let's see what this would. Okay, it's relatively weakening, as you can see, so I'm not too concerned around the St. Louis area too much. But definitely going to be watching this line, especially this as it bows out into this area of Illinois. And I'm more concerned, we'll be watching obviously that marginal risk and everything else. And that's where we got. Why do they issue tornado warnings if there is no hook? So Garland, there are 2 types of tornadoes. There is mesocyclone tornadoes, and then there are land spout tornadoes. Land spout tornadoes don't show up on radar because they start at the ground level. And these are usually by visual line of sight by storm spotters. And actually, that is something I am. I'm actually a storm spotter for the local weather service here. So it's volunteer people that are just weather enthusiasts that report the weather. Now, there is more organized groups in the Midwest and everything else, but California, our weather is random at most when it comes to severe weather. and most of our tornadoes are landspouts. So basically, that's what you get, and it's not just always the hook, because some tornadoes are very skinny, also that they're really hard to detect on radar. So, for example, I'll bring up a historical fact here. So what I'm gonna do is let's go to. This is just to answer Garland's question real quick. So we're gonna go to Oklahoma City, and let's go to May 25th. Is it 25th? Or is it 23rd? Actually, let's go with May. Hold on, I gotta look that up. May 20th. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and select May 20th. May 20th, 2013. And we're going to go with, I think it was 5 p.m. Alright, let's see. Waiting for it to load real quick. Give it a second. Like I said, we're doing this to show, just to give the answer to Garland real quick. Show the difference here. Well, so it occurred at 2. Okay, we gotta go back. Alright, so we're gonna go back. Stop. We're gonna go back at basically 3:15. So according to this, occurred around 2 p.m. So we're gonna and the computer has to put together the information. So bear with us one moment, please. So let's back up. Alright, it's about 1:30. So as you can see, obviously this is the EF5 tornado that occurred in Moore, Oklahoma in 2013. As you can see, there is a well-defined hook echo, right? But you can see how it's scrambled in the debris and everything else that's flying here. Wait, that went back time. Hold on, let's go back. Now, hold on, I'm trying to go back here. So obviously you got a well-defined debris ball signature as well. Rotate the windshield rotation and everything else. Now, for example, let's do this. So now we're going to go back to here. We're going to look at Sacramento, and I'm going to show you 1, 2. So we're going to go back to October 22nd, 2012, and we're going to do 5:15 p.m. So To show you the difference right now. Now we're going to bounce back a little bit. I want you to watch, everybody watch this cell right here. Because I'm going to show you something real quick that's interesting. So, right there, there's no hook. There's no real indication here of anything going on. Watch. Let's go back. Right there. See that little indent there? There's nothing real organized to indicate that there's anything going on here. But what if I told you that at this precise moment, a tornado was occurring right here in Elk Grove? So, the reason this tornado wasn't visible is obviously, let's look at the storm itself on radar around that time. So, as you can see, there's nothing really impressive. And so this is the area that was actually hit right here. This neighborhood right here was struck by the tornado. And when you go back, there is no indication of anything going on right there. As you can see, this occurred about this is about the time that it roughly occurred about. As you can see, there's nothing there that indicates any rotation, Garland, but the tornado was occurring, and that's just because of the nature of the tornado. So, now let's go back to live. So obviously we are sunny and clear right now, so there's nothing going on here. Temperature's gonna be like 98 today. So yeah, that's a little historical difference on radar, why it's hard to be seen. And I will show you the land spout. So again, we're gonna have Google, because Google's a good friend and Google doesn't copyright anybody for looking at the information. So the AI review explains what a land spout is. A land spout is a type of tornado that forms from the ground up rather than originate from the rotating thunderstorm cloud. That is a classic supercell tornado. So there's the basic difference, Garland, just to answer your question. And just to show you guys a quick few pictures, as you can see, these are what land spout tornadoes look like. They don't really associate with the storm above. Now, California tornadoes are a little more different in their formation. Because, so I'm going to explain this to you guys. At least this is what I've seen as someone who's lived here most of his life in the Central Valley. So most tornadoes in California will occur either in the valley location here, roughly. And then you have another couple of hot spots here, out here. And then there's obviously the Los Angeles area that sees their tornado activity as well. Each environment is a little bit different. Most of these tornadoes that occur in the desert area is just land spouts. They're mostly associated to that. Now, tornadoes here that do form are either most of the area, like around Bakersfield and down here, are land spout because it's still associated with that desert type of environment. Now, here it gets a little interesting. So, okay, the map just glitched. 1 second. I don't know why I ended up in the Pacific, but so one thing is interesting is geographical area for this area is we have the coastal range that located basically through here, and then we have the delta that's open. So when we get these low pressure systems that come through, obviously they're bringing in a lot of air this way. Well, this air rises and then comes into the valley, while the front door is wide open for this air to basically come up with what we call a delta breeze. It filters around, so it develops this little bit of wind shear. And What I've noticed looking at weather models, especially with CAPE and other instability, is California doesn't get widespread instability. Like we'll get a whole area here. Like for example, this area here will have maybe 4 to 500 CAPE, which is very low. Most tornadoes that form in the Midwest and everything else are in the 1,000 CAPE area of those supercells. But occasionally, like for example, we'll get this little tiny little speck in the middle of it that will reach 1,000 to like 1,400 or something, and it's not generating anything, but that CAPE is there. And normally what we do is we get like a bunch of cells that form in clusters. So all these cells are fighting in basically to try to control everything, to feed off the CAPE. Now, if one of these cells wanders into this area of stronger CAPE, it would temporarily become severe. But it's so random at most that it's really hard to predict these systems or what they're going to do, because you really have to have the cell that's going to wander into it rather than actually be part of the initiation cycle like you see in Tornado Alley, for example. And a lot of the times these lead to basically little isolated funnel clouds and nothing else comes of it. But occasionally a land spout spins up or even a tornado spins up, and most tornadoes are about 50 feet across or less. So, but back to our system. As you can see now, this line has recently gotten more organized. And it looks like College Station is on the menu to get hit, and they're rapidly intensifying. At least in their... And they're like kind of trotting together, so they're kind of moving in this direction. So obviously that looks pretty bad for these guys here. Again, we are looking at marginal wind damage as possible with this. And okay, we got a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's near Orlando. What we got going on here? Okay, quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, no tornado probability. Special marine warning for the coastal area. Yeah, it's just basically the severe thunderstorm warning for the water. I think we got the same thing going on here. Hail of a quarter, 40-knot winds. Basically, it's just below a severe thunderstorm. And I guess there's a waterspout tag too. Now this area is waterspout central, especially right here in this part of. You'll see a bunch of videos of waterspouts. Okay, we do have a wind damage report near Jacksonville, 52-mile-an-hour storm. So we got looks like a new flash flood warning just popped up in Virginia, and this is in effect for 4 more hours. What we got going on over here? Where's the nearest radar? Must be runoff. But yeah, Baltimore is getting flooded now. 911 call center, flash flood. Low due to high water following dead run flowing across the road. I think that's a creek. See, this is the cool part about this MyScope weather app. It's tied into other informational apps, so I'm able to see information as it comes in, like this report here. Thunderstorm. So a thunderstorm did cause significant wind damage. We have also a civilian report. Basically, small branches. My Ping is a weather app. Is a notification app to report to the Weather Service. It's operated by Oklahoma State University, and you can download it. There's a bunch, and it's good. It's a good tool. I mean, I'll say that. Let's bring this down. So right now we're still following this event, and this is basically where our most severe, I guess, our severe event that's occurring right now. Obviously Georgetown, and this is still up for another hour. We're seeing another about an inch and a quarter. So let's take a look. Let's see. Did I click on that one? Yeah. So let's look over the last 3 hours of rainfall. So as you guys can see here, this is what's triggering the flash flood warning. So we've seen about, roughly just shy of 2 inches of rainfall in some of these areas. And this area has already been saturated with the ongoing rain events the last couple of times, and obviously the severe warning, the severe event, catastrophic event that occurred in the Guadalupe River a couple of weeks ago. And I think the death toll is at 130 now, or 140. And they're still conducting. This is definitely going to be interfering with them because this obviously another flood event came down the Guadalupe River during this event this morning. So, and you can see we're getting another significant rain event here near Cameron. So I mean, the good part, I guess I won't say the good part, but one of the most is these storms are just producing flooding rains. They're not producing any significant damaging winds that are coming through so far, or obviously we're not seeing a massive tornado outbreak that's occurring, which flash flooding is bad, but a lot of that's one of the things that the nature has a natural defense for. Obviously rivers, creeks, and streams and everything else that helps funnel this water. And then obviously cities have drainage systems to do it. Obviously too much water in a short period of time ain't a good idea, but there's a way to minimize the effects of flash flooding if long as you have the right infrastructure in time. While for a tornado you're kind of just screwed. Like there's not really much you can defend yourself against that, or 100-mile-an-hour Del Rancho. And yeah, so this is what we're following this morning. I wanted to get on here and at least explain to you guys what's going on here and do that. I'm still working on a couple of the videos. I haven't done editing them, but obviously due to the greatest concern, I was bringing this up to your doing a live breaking news session this morning. For those of you who are making a list for videos and everything else, that will be on later this evening. So I don't know who made the list. WR Garbage Trucks, I think, was the one making the list. If you have that list, brother, can you hold on to it for this evening? We will do those this evening at 5 p.m. Obviously that, and we'll do some more Roblox, voice crack, Roblox as well. Unless something else really develops where like we really see a significant emergency develop, that's where we're going to be back on. Until then, you guys, this is our update, and I am Trashman Matt. Thanks for tuning into this one, and I'll be back on at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll be watching some videos.